This is about connecting with friends and just learning. Let's go.
Last night, and also this morning, but last night when I went back to my hotel, and then you'd put your thumbprint in, which is what makes it a fun group activity, and you could fill it with jam, you could do chocolate, anything you like, of course.
Something big is happening with Meghan Markle. And trust me, it's not just a silly rumor or random internet drama. This time, it's serious. Netflix, one of the biggest streaming companies in the world, has launched a real investigation against her show. Yeah, you heard that right. Meghan's show, With Love Meghan, is now at the center of a creative storm. And it's not because people didn't like it. That already happened with season 1. This time, it's about something much worse. Copying. Netflix believes Meghan may have taken whole scenes, lines, and even gestures from other popular shows. And now, they're digging deep to find out the truth. It all started with episode 4 of season 2. Some people noticed the dialogue in that episode sounded a lot like something straight from Hell's Kitchen. You know, the show where Gordon Ramsay yells a lot? Yup, same tone, same words, and even the same rhythm. That's when Netflix got suspicious. Then they found more. Episode 7, it had scenes that felt like they were pulled right out of Jersey Shore. Same style, same cast reactions, same everything. And just when they thought it couldn't get worse, boom, a beach scene appeared in With Love Meghan that looked just like a dramatic moment from Survivor. Even the dialogue matched. By now, Netflix was seriously worried. They weren't just thinking, oh, this might be inspired by other shows. They were thinking, did Meghan really copy this stuff? So they launched a full investigation. That means they brought in experts, watched all the episodes again, and compared scenes side by side with the shows in question. And what they saw, it didn't look good. Now, here's where things get even more dramatic. Meghan says she didn't copy anything. She says those shows inspired her, and that's all. She claims it's normal for artists to be influenced by things they love. But the people at Netflix, they're not convinced. One producer even said, there's a big difference between being inspired and stealing full scenes. Things inside Netflix are getting really tense. Some big bosses are fighting over what to do. Ted Sarandos, one of Netflix's co-CEOs, still believes in Meghan. He thinks the drama might even help bring in more views. But Greg Peters, the other CEO, has had enough. He wants to end the show now. No season 3, no second chances. But the drama doesn't stop there. Behind the scenes, things are falling apart. The team working on With Love, Meghan had planned just 2 weeks of reshoots. You know, quick edits and a few new shots. But now, it's turned into a 6 to 7 week disaster. Scripts are being rewritten, scenes are being deleted, and no one really knows what's going to be left in the final version. People working on the show are getting tired and upset. Some of them are even quitting or trying to distance themselves from the project. And here's the crazy part. Some of Meghan's own cast members don't even want to be part of the show anymore. That's how messy it's become. Meanwhile, Netflix is also getting a lot of heat from viewers. Some subscribers are angry, not just about Meghan's situation, but because of other problems too, like Netflix raising prices, removing popular old shows, and now dealing with this huge celebrity controversy. And Meghan, well, she's starting to feel the pressure. Since big studios are pulling away, she's now trying to fund her own projects. That means using her own money and finding private investors. She's talking about bringing back her podcast and even starting a new reality show. But guess what? Streaming services are saying no. Some of them have straight up told her, we don't want the drama. Even some of her most loyal fans are starting to back away. Social media is full of people saying things like, I wanted to support her, but this is just too much. Why is she copying Jersey Shore scenes in 2025? Yup, that's the kind of stuff people are posting, and things just kept getting worse. Netflix was already struggling to keep subscribers happy. Now this Meghan situation is making it harder. Greg Peters is pushing for major damage control. He's telling his team, cut ties now and protect the Netflix brand before things get even uglier. But Ted Sarandos is still hoping for a miracle. He thinks maybe this mess can turn into a comeback story for Meghan. Maybe people will tune in just to see the controversy. But honestly, that plan isn't working too well. While all this was happening, editors at Netflix were ordered to go back and review every second of Meghan's show. They had to compare each scene with other reality shows like Hell's Kitchen, Jersey Shore, Survivor, and Pamela's Cooking with Love. It was a massive job. A task that usually takes weeks was now being rushed in just a few days. Meanwhile, Meghan was not staying quiet. She was reportedly angry, sending frustrated messages to Netflix staff, demanding to know why no one warned her and why her show was suddenly being treated like a crime crime scene. Some insiders said she even threatened to remove her name from the show and rebrand it under her own production label. While Meghan's team tried to calm things down, things only got more intense. They started telling the public that Meghan wasn't copying, she was just inspired. Her team said she loved reality TV and just used a few similar ideas. But when Netflix's lawyers watched one particular scene, a cooking segment that looked almost exactly like something from Pamela's Cooking with Love, they weren't buying it. Same recipe, same layout, even some of the same spoken lines. That didn't feel like inspiration. It felt like copying. At this point, Greg Peters had had enough. He told Netflix staff, "No more season 3, no more meetings about it. We're done." But Ted Sarandos, still hoping for a save, kept holding calls with Meghan's reps to look for solutions. The problem? There weren't any good ones left. Some of the scenes were already out there. Unfinished rough cuts that couldn't be undone. The reshoots were eating up more and more money, and now people inside Netflix were starting to worry about something even bigger: lawsuits. If the people behind Hell's Kitchen, Jersey Shore, or Real Housewives decided to take legal action, Netflix could be in major trouble. Not just with money, but with its reputation. And let's talk about that reputation. Netflix was already getting complaints about its rules, price hikes, and removing fan favorite shows. Now, if it became known for airing copied content, even investors could start pulling away. It was more than a show now. It was a threat to Netflix's whole brand. Then came even more bad news. A new report said more copied scenes were found, this time from the Real Housewives. This wasn't just a one-time mistake. It looked like a pattern. Some people started saying Meghan didn't make a new show. She just stitched together old ones. If that turned out to be true, it wouldn't just hurt Netflix, it could get them sued. But Meghan wasn't backing down. She got on video calls with the production team, demanding answers. She said Netflix was blaming her for their own mistakes. According to people who were there, Meghan felt betrayed. She thought she had creative control, and now Netflix was turning on her. Some Netflix staff tried to make a deal. They suggested cutting the scenes, re-editing the show, and adding a note saying some things were inspired by other content. But Greg Peters didn't go for it. He didn't want excuses. He wanted a clean break. Outside of Netflix, things weren't looking any better. Amazon passed on Meghan's new podcast idea. A studio that had once been interested in making a documentary with her stopped returning her calls. And agents who used to chase her down were now walking away. People in the industry weren't just watching what Meghan did. They were watching how she handled it. And a lot of them didn't like what they saw. Fans felt the same. Social media was flooded with memes, side-by-side comparisons, and people saying they were done. TikTok was filled with clips making fun of her. One scene in particular, a wine toss from her show that was almost the same as one from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, went viral. That moment became the final straw for many. Then Meghan did something unexpected. She posted a self-recorded video on her website. No Netflix branding, just her in a softly lit room talking to the camera. But she didn't apologize. Instead, she said the attacks were unfair. She blamed powerful men in suits and said the world always tries to tear down women who take risks. But people didn't feel sorry. In fact, many called her video tone deaf and too rehearsed. Right after that, another scene leaked online. Again, almost an exact match to a famous reality TV moment. That's when headlines like "Meghan doubles down while the evidence piles up" started popping up. Late night shows even made jokes about her launching a new series called Borrowed with Meghan. The damage was done. Netflix team members started quitting. Directors didn't want to be associated with the show. Replacing them was hard. No one wanted to work under that kind of pressure. Netflix's legal team even started talking to outside lawyers, just in case big lawsuits came in. Money was also a huge problem. The show was already expensive, and now with the reshoots and delays, it was going way over budget. Executives inside Netflix were worried that with love, Meghan wouldn't even make back half the money it cost to produce. Some were secretly suggesting canceling the show before it ever aired, but Meghan wasn't ready to give up. She announced she was starting her own content studio using private investors and some of her own money. She said her first project would be a docuseries about overcoming public judgment, with her as the main focus. That didn't go over well. Critics laughed. Some said Meghan was stuck in a bubble, surrounded by people who were too scared to tell her the truth. Others said she had been warned long ago. Some of her own team members had pointed out how close the scenes were to other shows, but she didn't listen. She believed she was reframing pop culture through a royal lens. But the world didn't see it that way. In the end, Netflix made a quiet decision. No big announcement, no press release, just silence. With Love, Meghan, season 2 was quietly removed from the schedule. All promo material vanished. vanished. When reporters asked, Netflix simply said they were re-evaluating future projects. And that was it. A show that was supposed to rebuild Meghan's public image ended up becoming a lesson in what not to do with fame and creative power. The star who once had a global platform behind her was now on her own. No studios, no big contracts, and for many, no more sympathy. But Meghan, she's still talking, posting online, giving speeches, teasing new ideas. Only now, fewer people are listening. If you found this story as shocking as we did, don't forget to like the video. It really helps us out. And we cover all the biggest celebrity stories, scandals, and behind the scenes drama. So make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss out. Got thoughts on Meghan's situation? Drop a comment below. We read them all. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.